Hey there. Okay, I got to do a really cool practice consult today with a practice that's a direct primary care practice. So direct primary care practices operate mostly outside of insurance, meaning that you pay a monthly membership fee, kind of like Netflix, kind of like a gym membership, and with that you get essentially for most practices unlimited access, meaning unlimited visits. Usually communication is streamlined. They have smaller practice panels, and so like my practice, 80% of our interactions with parents are over text message. There's lots of things that we can deal with over text message without making them come into the office. And when we don't have to have them on site to bill their insurance because we don't take their insurance, then we can just do a lot of the things that we would typically say, gotta come in for over text message. And so one of the things that we were talking about today on the consult was a specific niche. Now, most practices in direct primary care are primary care. And so when you think about primary care, you usually think about takes everybody. So a family practice sees 80-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 8-week-olds, and 8-day-olds. And when you try and speak to everybody and tell them about your practice and how it works, you turn off most people because the 80-year-olds join because of the ease of access, the reduced price on prescription drugs, the easy access to labs and more affordability and those sorts of things. The parents of 8-year-olds join because they need to be able to get in easily when their kid is sick. The parents of 8-day-olds join because they want somebody that can take care of their new baby. There's all different reasons. The parents of an 8-day-old baby don't really care that 80-year-olds get decreased price on prescription drugs. So one thing we were talking about, and we were talking about kind of their ideal new patients, and one of them was college students. And so we were talking about, well, how do you get in front of college students? Their office is near a college. And so we were brainstorming and coming up with ideas of how do you reach college students? Well, you don't. You reach their parents because their parents are the ones that are going to pay the bill for the 18-year-old to have a medical home. And so we talked about different ways that we could do that. It was a really fun discussion and gave me a lot of different ideas of how to reach them. Things like new student enrollment, things like sororities. Sororities have to they put on programming. So do fraternities, but sororities put on programming. And so if we can get into the sorority and talk about mental health, and then talk with the parents about how your practice can help their child to have a medical home while they're away on campus, how their practice can help monitor and manage mental health, physical health, emotional health, all those sorts of things. That's going to be really attractive to parents who are sending their little baby off to somewhere far away, and they want to have a medical home so they don't have to say, oh, you're sick, go to urgent care. Oh, you're having some emotional challenges right now, go to the health center or something like that. Well, DPC could be a really good option. And frankly, people love to text, and who loves texting more than college students? And so it works really well. So we were talking about a specific niche. Now, that doesn't mean they're only going to serve college students. They're going to serve a variety of different patients. But that was one specific thing where we came up with some specific growth ideas on ways that we can focus. And one of the things when practices are trying to grow that I often find is they have really broad targets. And what we need to do is, instead of having a broad target, we really narrow down and we say, how are we going to attract more college students? Here's 3 specific things that we're going to do to get in front of college students, or in this case, their parents, to figure out how we can help to grow our practice with that one specific niche. And then when we feel like, okay, we've done these 3 things, we're starting to grow, we learned some things, then we can move on to another niche and talk about the 80-year-olds or the 8-day-olds or whatever group we want to talk about next. And so that was kind of picking a niche. Now, the second thing that we talked about was online appointment scheduling. They were not doing this, and we got into a discussion during our call on me and how I need to go to the dentist and I need to go see my primary care doctor and these different things. And my schedule is busy during the day. And frankly, I don't think of it. And then I don't think, I have extra time to kill here. I want to call and wait on hold and then look at my calendar and try and figure out a time. I just want to do that at 5 in the morning or 7 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night or whenever. I want to get on my phone and I want to be able to click this time because I know Tuesdays at 3:30 typically works for me, and I can look on my calendar on my phone. Yep, that works, and I want to book the appointment. And what we find in our practice for meet and greets and for sick visits is that parents love being able to book online and not have to call, not have to play phone tag. That delays. And if you especially are just saying, okay, I want to grow my practice, even if you say, I'm not ready to have sick patients schedule their own, I want to be in charge of that, you should have dedicated times each week where you can have a block of time where meet and greets can self-schedule, because those are people that are thinking, hey, I need a new doctor. I want to learn about this practice, and if I have to make a phone call and then talk to somebody, that's probably going to add weeks, if not months, to actually doing it. But if I can go into their website and click, 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 made an appointment. I mean, one of the doctors that was on the call said she specifically chooses healthcare offices. What was the other thing? Like getting her car oil changed and getting aesthetics and haircuts and those sorts of things based on if they have availability on their website, so she doesn't have to take the time to make a phone call. This is what people want. You should be doing that. Even if you're not doing it for sick visits in your EMR, you can still do it with Google Calendar. We use Practice, Practos, which I developed. Calendly, something along those lines that allows patients to book without having to have the delay and hassle that comes from talking on the phone. And then the third thing that we talked about was after hours text messages. This kind of separated from the growth part of the discussion and was really talking about what do we do when patients are texting us after hours? And it's 10 p.m. and they're texting us a picture of a vitamin that they saw on Amazon and wondering if this is a vitamin for them. And they find themselves like distracted and not able to separate and enjoy their time because they're feeling like they have to respond to these messages and they need to, show up for their patients. And as when you're a tiny practice, that's okay. That's easier to do. The volume isn't as high. But as you grow, we have to make things that are sustainable and scalable. And responding at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night after coming home from a date night with your spouse, talking with somebody about the vitamins that they saw on Amazon is not a good use of your time, and it's not setting good boundaries. And so what we do is we have, and I'll try and post it in the comments here, an after hours text message. At 4:30, it turns on, and it doesn't turn off until 8 in the morning. And it says something along the lines of, hey, you've reached us. We're not open right now, but we can still help. If you have a question that can wait, drop it here. We will check our text messages in the morning and get back to you. If you need to book an appointment, here's the link to go to our website and book an appointment. And if this is something that can't wait, here's our after hours nurse triage line. We do have a nurse triage line for our practice because I like my sleep and I don't mind that if somebody calls and needs something after hours that I pay somebody else to take care of that. They do a great job. I've been open for 3 years and I've gotten exactly 2 phone calls from them when they weren't sure what to do. Otherwise, I don't have any after hours messages ever. And so if you set those expectations and those boundaries, then we actually, and I told them this on our consultation today, I told them, I encourage people to text me at 2 in the morning. If you're awake with your baby and you're scrolling through and you have a question, you're not going to want to write it down in your notes. You're not going to try and remember it. You'll be tired. Just text us. Like it does. I tell parents, it does not wake me up if you text me at 2 in the morning. I am not going to see it. It's not going to wake me up. I'll get to it in the morning. And then in the morning, when we get into the office in the morning, our first 30 minutes of our day before we huddle are all about responding to spruce messages. And so then we are able to work through those questions and get those things out of the way. And parents love it. They come to their checkups with no long notes of questions because we were able to talk them through in real time when they had them without interrupting our evenings and those sorts of things. Now, what I told them too is if you set the expectation low, then if you're on your phone and you say, hey, somebody came in, they had a question or a message came in, pretty simple rash, I want to respond to it after hours. You can do that, but there isn't the expectation that you're going to do that. And that completely shifts what is expected of you and the parent's expectation, the patient's expectation, so that you can exceed the expectations rather than constantly feeling like you have to, oh, my phone buzzed, I gotta go answer this, and oh my gosh, I was trying to watch a movie with my kids and now I'm talking about vitamins or, some random thing that somebody saw on the internet. No, you can put those boundaries in place, and you must put those boundaries in place if you want a practice that grows with you and that you are able to continue to do without burning out. Because yes, you can answer those questions from time to time, but if every evening at 8:30 you're getting back on your phone, wading through all these messages, it's going to make your career less long and less enjoyable. And so hopefully those things are helpful for you. Hopefully this was kind of a helpful little session of talking live and follow along, ask questions, drop a question in the comments. Keep up the good work.